everybody. I'm so sorry that things like this story
is about this very drastic thing. Very always think of and focus on so far very busy. It's about because it has been a very traumatic life really good lesson. So to say life is very nice.
Lewis.
Hello, how are you? Why can't I hear you? Oh no, I can hear you. Hold on, let me get out and come back.
Okay. AI can also no reality is really good with this a little bit of what for this
Now I can hear you. And now you disappeared again. That is strange.
In half a mile, take exit 31A for Missouri 367 South.
let me see if I so can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, I hear you. What happened?
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. But it's breaking though. It's breaking, but I hear you.
No, I didn't. So,
It's cracking. I hear you, but it's just cracking. So
I keep muting myself, you guys. We're gonna try to jump into the show real quick because these kids are pushing my button.
because I'm using the headphones, so I'm supposed to be able to hear you clearly, but it's like when you speak, it keeps cracking. Like it's getting some kind of interference.
Down. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. And now it stopped.
In half a mile, take the
I
Chambers
can't
Road
hear you
exit.
anymore. I don't know what's going on. Try checking your audio input.
Take the Chambers Road exit.
I think it's the internet. It says there's a new connection. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to check my system here and see what's going on. Okay. Yeah. Can you guys hear me? Someone's watching. Can they hear me? How is it now? Richmond, you can
Sounds better.
hear my hand.
I know it's strange. It just keeps on breaking. You might want to check that your mic.
I took the mic. Oh, I'm trying to like. But anyways, we're gonna try to do this quickly because I have a paper I need to submit. So let me try to do this as quickly as possible and get out of here. All right. I was trying to share the show. Hopefully we can get this done.
4 reasons I trust this.
Sorry, guys. I was trying to listen to myself to see how it sounds.
Okay, now it sounds better.
All right, I'll sit super close like this. But anyways, welcome to the show. Where are you? Oh, look at you. I've been doing
I am doing Amazon Flex.
my first time seeing you in the new year.
No what?
Is it the first time I'm seeing you? It's your first show for
This year? No, because I came in the first show, but after that I have been gone because I just recently moved.
Oh yeah,
I'm in
you're
Missouri now. Yeah, I'm in Missouri now, so I've been jumping from one Airbnb to another. I just finally got a place yesterday. So I just moved into a one bedroom in somebody's house yesterday. That's life. Struggle is real.
It's not for the weak.
Tell me about it, especially the fact that I just found out that I'm only getting one paycheck this month. I was pissed. It's life.
Yeah, you'll be all right. God got you.
Well, I guess God got my mortgages too, because I'm gonna need it.
January.
I got 3 mortgages I'm paying for, plus this is my newfound rent. So 4 things is what I'm paying for now.
Well, all will be well, and I hope that the month will end on a good note. But yeah, welcome to the show, everybody. Tonight we're talking about parenting, enabling, the grown adult children. There was somebody who wanted to join our panelists. You're welcome to join us. Uh, the link is always in the comment section, so you're always welcome to join us. We're starting right now at 7:33 because we have some.
In
Hey,
half a
it
mile,
keeps
take
going
right
in and
onto
out.
Delwood Avenue.
Your connection keeps going in and out, just so you know.
And it says it's good, so it might be um it might be StreamYard because I had trouble logging on. It was taking forever. So I'll try my best and we'll try to get out of here. Hey Riverside Pro, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Hopefully each and every one of you guys had a really great week. So tonight this topic is actually triggered from a video I watched on Facebook actually this afternoon, and it really changed everything. So hopefully we can be here for 45 minutes. You got 45 minutes. That's it. Hopefully your network will work well. Welcome to the show, Jimmy. How you doing?
I'm fine, Fee. Thank you. Rich man, what's up?
Nothing much, nothing much. Just living the life.
That's right.
Yeah. So welcome to Let's Talk with Miss Fee. Let's jump right into it. I'm gonna open up by just saying this conversation is not for those who are weak in the heart or whatsoever. This topic is based on a video that I watched online, and this mother, you could really see the pain and agony she was in, just dealing with her adult 35-year-old son. And I just thought it would be a great topic to discuss, given the fact that a lot of parents feel like they should always be there to rescue their children. Unfortunately, I don't feel like I am one of those parents, especially when my kids reach to that age that they should be of understanding and know how to deal with themselves. But I can also say, watching the video, I speculate on a few things as well. I will play the video. It will have a audio that before we jump into it. But I just want to give you a little background. My mother reaches her breaking point with her 35-year-old son who is job hopping. Like he never ever keep a job. He get a job and will quit it. It's not that he lost the job or they fire him, but because he just something makes him mad and he leaves. And she'll always be there to take him. He refusing responsibility, show up. And then at this last one where she's felled up and cut him off and kicked him out, now he showed back up to her home and just on a rant with her. At 5 a.m., he wants to move in. He doesn't want to pay rent. He doesn't want to contribute at all. And she's been doing it. At this point, she's done. And I just want us to, discuss this topic because this is something that I feel like a lot of people go through, and especially back home, I feel like a lot of parents enable their children, or in the name of the culture, well, I don't want to feel like I abandoned my children or my child. Um, oh, okay, sure, reverse as well. Sorry. Um, yeah, so tonight I want us to focus on when does support cross the line into enabling. That's the things that I want us to look at tonight. Through this topic, I want us to look at, does refusing to house or do any type of support for your children, is it harmless or is it healthy? How do culture, faith, and all of this plays into that decision that we make to help our children? And lastly, what responsibility does a 35-year-old adult have for his own stability? That, as a 35-year-old, what are some of those things you should already be doing for yourself? So that's some of those things that I want us to look at. And finally, well, given the situation that I just said, that I'm telling you about the video, at this point, is it harassing or is it entitlement? Or, like, I don't know. What role does the parent play into a child being, or an adult, a 35-year-old adult feeling like they're entitled to always be safe? With that being said, welcome to Let's Talk with Ms. Fee. Let's jump right into it with the first twin. I want to welcome Jamie Richmond to the show and welcome each and every one of you guys who listens pro in our audience. You're more than welcome. Please share the show, invite your friends and family. I'm having some difficulty with StreamYard tonight, so if I'm in and out, I'll just mute myself and you guys can kind of like just dive into it. But I really want us to end this show no later than 8:20. Okay. All right, let's jump into it. So just be mindful of the time. Welcome, you guys. It said, when does helping your adult child become enabling, a mother's breaking point? Do you guys want me to play a little bit of the clip, like just to listen, like the audio, and then we jump into it?
I want that
Yes.
video.
I haven't. Send it to me. Let me see it.
It's in the group chat, but let me play it. I have it. I couldn't get it up here. 'Cause
Fee, send it to my other phone.
I don't have the other phone.
Okay. I will forward it to myself.
So let's listen out, guys. Let's listen out. Just play the audio, and I want you guys to listen to it.
I think the best thing would be you send it to him because that audio is a little bit long if you want to leave from here on time.
A.M. this morning.
Yeah, I'm just gonna play a little bit of it. Hold on one second. I just want to get a starting point of it. I'll fast forward it to where I want you guys to listen, and then we jump into it.
Asking me, can he come back to my house? I've allowed him to live with me for 3 years, rent free.
All hell continues to break loose in me.
And just occupying space. He has had job after job. He gets them. He quits them. He gets pissed off because something happens, and he just quits because he feels like he has some place to stay and lay his head until he decides he wants to work again. Anybody who knows me know that I have put up with my fair share of heartache from my son. Last Friday, I decided enough was enough for me. 35 years old. I've done more than most would do.
All right, so I want to stop there and establish first She had him live with her for 3 years. He's 35 years old. He gets a job. He quits them because he knows he has somewhere he can stay. He already has that stability. And then, she kicks him out. Finally, she reached a breaking point and said, "No, you're out." So with just that part, hearing that, I want us to get started with that. I don't even know. Do you want to get started? What's your initial thoughts? Just hearing that. You have your 35-year-old, let you live with you, rent free, food free, everything's free. Would you even do that? 35.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I was about to use the F word, but I just hold it back to myself because that actually irritated me. Like, seriously, why would you even be caring for him? Why did you even let it reach that extent? 3 years? And then again, didn't she have like brother or another man that could have possibly helped her? Didn't her friends see this? Didn't other family members see all this and caution her? It just makes me wonder what would have led for her to even retain it to this point. Because somebody should have already advised her. So it's like there is really more to it but that's just ridiculous. I'm sorry. That's just ridiculous.
Wouldn't allow your child that you've grown and equipped for life at that age stay with you for 3 years, rent free, nothing.
Nah. By the age of 18, you should already be out of the house. Like, and why is it that you get irritated? Just because you get pissed off, you decide to leave the job, or something irritates you, you get to leave the job. She has pretty much been babying him for way too long. It seems like a child that still needs to go back to sucking his mom's breast. That's practically what seems to be happening. That is ridiculous.
Gotcha.
So she shouldn't have waited this long to have kicked him out. She should have kicked him out a long time ago. And besides, he's 35 years old, which means he should have either been married or something. Like, for crying out loud, doesn't he have a girlfriend? Is he, like, what's the deal?
Let's hear from Jimmy. Gotcha. Let's hear from Jimmy. Jimmy, what's your initial thoughts? What's going through your mind?
Well, thank you very much, Fee, for having me on tonight. And I want to welcome all of my great supporter and fans on this show. Sorry that I'm not always here. Schedule is kind of tight, but I'm here tonight. So let's join into. But Fee, before I go for it, I want you to find your Bible or just Google Proverbs 22 verse 6, maybe King James version or NIV, NF8
Proverbs
22 verse 6.
22 verse 6. King James. I like King James.
Yeah, I don't like the person that wrote it, but
Oh, whatever. All right, I got it. Should I read it?
yeah, please.
It said, train up a child in a way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
All right. Now, can you find an NIV too?
And I mean, sure.
King James say, train a child in a way that he should go, that when he is old, he will not depart from it. Let's see what NIV says.
NIV says, start children off on the way they should go, and even when they are old, they will not turn from it.
Okay. So, to our mother in that video, you brought this upon yourself.
I agree.
Look, when you take a child to the store, not purposely to buy them something, but when they get there and they start crying for stuff, and because you refuse, and they start showing themselves all around, and because you don't want that, you go and buy that stuff for that child, you are training them the wrong way. She trained that man to be who he is today, so he's coming back to bite her right on the neck.
Hmm.
And this should serve as a lesson to mothers who are raising men. Listen, when you have a male child, keep him close to his father. Let him see what his father does for living, how he brings in food, how he pays the bills, and let him start learning from him. Look, it's very dangerous, and our society is the world is moving in a direction where we are foresee future chaos. When women are raising men, the possibility of that man becoming a real man is very slim, because he sees, he grew up seeing a woman does what she does. He doesn't grow up seeing a man that looks like him, that he should be like him, he should behave like him, he should be trained like him, to shoulder responsibility when he becomes adult. A lot of that is not in our society today. When you have a male by a man, keep that boy close to his father. If the father is not living right, keep him close by other men who he will learn from and be like them. See? So the question for discussion tonight, I want to say it depends in which society, but I just wanted to show that to our mother in our video. It depends in the society. There are, like, for example, Africa, people are 35 years old, still live in their parents' home, but are not liability on them. Okay? And in fact, African culture has it that the male should, should not just leave his father home, even, when he becomes adult, except that father is still alive. And the male want the father and the male want the male to become a man on his own. See? So they start training us. They start training us to become men when we are 7, 5, 6, 7. See? So it depends on the society. Now, in the Western society, adulthood start at 18. But your actual independence starts at 22. I think 21 or 22.
21.
After your 21, after your 21st birthday in America, you are considered a full adult. You are declared independent. So from age 0 to age 18, what you instill in a young man or a young woman will determine whether when they reach that age, they will be on their own or they will still be a liability on you. Anyway, let me stop there. Let rich men come in, because
Okay.
If you mind me, I will just keep flowing.
No, at the end of the day, I do
You
believe exactly what he said. And to Riverside Pro, I read your message, and the answer to that question is because one, the mothers are the ones who ends up retaining the men in the house. That's one. Number two, it is because the mothers have this mindset that they want their son to remain in the house, and they tell their sons that, hey, stay in the house until you get married. When you get married, then you leave. Because the whole idea behind that, their intentions are good. Why they're saying that is because they want you to save up so that way you can be able to now get your own place, move out to take care of your own family. But unfortunately, men, when you give them that opportunity, they will definitely take advantage of it. It's a normal thing. If you give a man and you tell him, hey, you can stay here for free, even your normal friend that is a male, if you go to your male friend's house and he gives you the opportunity to stay for 1 week, a lot of times you will see them, they will even stay beyond that 1 week. That's the normal set. But in terms of this case, yes, the woman pretty much overdid it. She shouldn't have even, in the first place, let him be staying for free. If you let him come into the house, make him pay. It is his responsibility to contribute to the well-being of the home. And besides, it surprises me that there is no husband in this picture. I'm not hearing anything about a husband in there. I'm not hearing anything about her boyfriend in there. I'm not even hearing anything about her brother being in this conversation. Where are all these men when all this nonsense is happening? And besides, they've always had this saying where they say a woman should not be the one taking care of a male child. When the male child gets to a certain age, it's the responsibility of the father to take over. Why? Because a mother is always going to keep on doing that nurture mindset. It's always going to be like that for her, that she doesn't know how to really put her foot down. Why? Because she carried the child for 9 months. So she believes that that is her child. She has to care for him. She has to do all that. That is ridiculous. I do the exact same thing with my wife in the house, that she gets pissed off at me. Even her mother herself got pissed off at me when I was literally putting my 3-year-old boy on timeout. I put him to face the wall because I have to teach him responsibility. Like, I just don't want him to get spoiled. Now, I left the house. I'm here in Missouri. Well, guess what? Wife got pissed off because my son now was busy there telling her no. And I've been warning her about it. So that's the thing that they failed to understand, because she kept on taking care of him, nurturing him, saying he's just a boy. He's just a little child. Well, he's just a little child. Now, this woman, in her own case, that boy is basically acting like that little child. But the problem is now it went too far, and I guess it was now affecting her health and her mental health. That's the reason why she now finally realized that she has done it. But at that time, you've already messed up. You've already created that demon, because now the boy is not even going to know how to go be responsible out there in life. He cannot handle a job, which basically means if he cannot do that, then very much the fact that she has kicked him out, the next place he's going to be going is jail. Crime is what he's going to know now. He's not going to know anything reasonable, because that.
we lost you there. We lost you there. Can't hear
Fighting.
you.
So, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So that anger is going to lead him to fighting, committing crimes, and he's going to end up in jail. So all you did,
Who is this?
all you did there is create a jail baby out of what shouldn't have been happening in the first place. So that is a mindset that mothers need to take into consideration.
He been to jail already, according to her story.
Oh, see, there you go. So that has even proved my point. So that is all the boy knows, because he was not trained in the right way. Even at this age, like, it shouldn't have even lasted this long. Make him pay some bills, make him retain his job. But since he couldn't retain his job and he's a nuisance to himself, then let him go out there and do whatever. You have done your own part as a mother. You've taken care of him up to the age of that 21. Now he should. What about his education? Does he even have school? He
So-
probably doesn't.
So
See?
what is we might
Let me,
have,
Fee, just before you come in to Richmond's point,
Mhm.
there was something that struck me in that video as I was watching, and that came from the mother.
Mm.
She said he spent 3 years in jail,
Mm.
and those 3 years were the most peaceful time in my life.
Oh my God.
And I, she's speaking now. I'm quoting her. I was the only person who went there and signed on him, on his behalf. That means he didn't have friends that went there. He didn't have a father that went there, whether the father is dead or in a jail too or somewhere. She didn't stay there. But here is what happened.
That's
She
bro.
continued.
Sorry. Brother says, bro, I don't see you.
She continued and said, even when he came out of jail, he told me that I should have done better, more. I should have done more. So the son is telling the mother that she should have done more. And I agree with the son.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree with the son. She should have done more that would have kept him out of jail. She would have done more that would have made him an independent man by that age. She would have done more that he would have his own family by now if she have done more. Go ahead, Fee.
This is so, I really think we're going to do a part 2 of this again tomorrow. Because as I watch it and, try to rush through it, I don't want to rush through it because I really feel like this is really a big deal. And I don't know, I told you guys my job overnight now. I didn't know there was so many conversations that people engage in, and the conversation we're engaging in, like it's really giving me. I thought during the day I used to talk to people and get topics idea, but man, when I tell you guys the amount of topic ideas that are hitting me, it's just like we really have to talk about this because I feel like it's a crisis for the men that are being raised nowadays. I feel like it's a global crisis because they're not like women were trying to take on the role of, how do I put it? We're trying to take the role to raise men that we're saying men are not nothing. Am I making sense? Like a group of women were saying, oh, men are nothing, they're not like our fathers before, but our fathers before were being raised by men. And now we women are raising men. And I know some people will argue and say that, River says, bro, I don't see you backstage. Can you try to come back in? They will say like, there are women that are raising men that are good. We cannot take the 1% and make it 100%. There are very few, and those women that are doing it, they're seeking advice from their brothers, their uncles, and their, spiritual father. They're setting those boundaries and they have that relationship in place with the father, that the father is still part of those children's life, but because they're a single mom, they're doing that. And this topic is so deep as we're discussing it, it's just making me like there are layers of it that we really need to cover. And we might not have the time tonight, but tomorrow we can take it from the other angle. I agree with you guys. As a mom, you only know what you know from a woman's perspective. That, oh, a woman likes to be treated nicely. A woman likes to be treated this way, this way. So you're raising him from that perspective. Whereas a real man that is grown and trained by his father, who understands his role in a home, will train up that boy to understand that as you grow into manhood, this is what your responsibility is. You're not just gonna quit a job because a person tells you, oh, you don't know what you're doing. You will seek constructive criticism and say, well, I gotta stick it out because I have responsibility. I want to go back to what River Test Pro said in his post, that it is said that men stay longer at home. And, with the whole prodigal son thing, we're going to get to that. In my opinion, I'm looking at it from a biblical standpoint. A man stay longer at home to be equipped and ready, that when he meet his bride, he will cleave to his own, right? The Bible, even when wording are used, it's not just used lightly. Like, there are reasons. For me, I believe the Bible, whatever is written in it, is intentional and is there for a reason. When a man leaves his home, when he's equipped and ready, you never prepare this child. In my opinion, he might be aging, but he's still a child because he's still thinking like a child, right? He doesn't know any responsibility. He probably haven't even been able to purchase his own, cell phone or things like that. You have him sitting there. You said it. Like, you should know why you're having this turmoil of this child sitting in your driveway at 5 a.m. waiting for you to come and rescue him. Like, you know this. You already know the answer. And I'm not trying to beat at her, because a lot of people say, well, why are you beating on this woman? She's already done her best. No, she hasn't. She set it up for him to fail. And before I let you guys in, and we'll just try to cover this last comment and then answer one more and see how we can, wrap it up and see if we take it from another angle tomorrow. Hopefully we can get here early enough to get it from that angle. But I had a discussion with, a group of people at work. Some of them were people that reports to me, and some of them are people that, they're colleagues as well. And in that conversation, I'm learning things that are happening in prison, how survival skills and things like that somebody have been through and how they got here. And I'm just sitting there thinking, like, wow, the world is really deeper than what I'm even thinking I know of. Like, there's so much layers to the world that I haven't even scratched the surface yet. But anyways, this man was preaching and quoting the Bible on a conversation, how we'll be judged and things like that. And at another angle, the things he said that he's done and things that he's willing to do and continue to do opened my mind. And I was like, wow, I cannot believe this. But the statement that he said that I want to connect to this topic, he said that once you're in the system keeps you there. But now, as we're discussing this topic and thinking about this man going to prison, and now he's back, he's crying on mamas to help him. It's not the system. You can't blame the system.
Hey, Fee, so is it because there's a difference between prison and jail? Which one was he in for the 3 years? Prison or jail?
I think it was in.
Because prison is pretty much the inmates run themselves and determine how they want to live their lives. They pretty much run the prison. In jail, the correction officer and the detention officers are the ones that controls it. But then again, jail is considered as Disneyland. Jail is pretty much fancy enjoyment, no toughness. You're pretty much living the wonderful life, which basically means the CEOs and DOs are the ones technically taking care of you and giving you the wonderful dress up. You get a wonderful shower. You get everything. You pretty much have your wonderful life. 3 square meal. So.
See, I didn't even know, but I believe according to the video, he was in jail, right? Jimmy?
She said prison.
Oh, prison. Oh, okay. Oh, he went to
She
the
said prison. Yeah, I'm sure. That's what she said, prison.
He was in the deep end.
I see. So he's probably a gang member as well then.
Right. On the other hand, right, her case is specific to her, right? We do know there are few cases where parents did whatever they can and the kids still end up on the other side. But you wouldn't see the parents still saying, come to my house, live there rent free. I would not be one of those parents. God forbid, God forbid. But let's look at what River says. River says, I'm so sorry. I don't see you backstage. Hopefully, when we take this from another angle tomorrow, you can, join us. I know you have prior obligation. So he said, do you think the case of the prodigal son, Luke 15:11-32, was a case of enabling or love or forgiveness? Do you think any modern day parents like me will have taken the son back?
Do
Let
you
me,
want? Okay.
because I know of the prodigal son, but I'm not too in depth with it. I probably have to read that. And then tomorrow I can give you a more concrete, answer from the angle that if I would have entertained it.
Okay. So, the story of the prodigal son was not enabling, was not love. It was intended to teach a lesson of forgiveness. Okay. So here is a king who had two sons, the older one and the younger one. And the younger one decided to go out and experience life by himself by requesting, the father to give him his share of what the father has for him. And the father did not hesitate. He gave it to him. He went, lived fabulous life, and ruined everything. He became broke. He started to realize the actual life that people who are not privileged like he was are living. He started to work for somebody else. While in his father's place, he has 7 that were serving him. And because of the way he was suffering, and he thought of how he would be served if he was in his father's kingdom, he decided to go back to his father. Now, the real reaction to that from the father would have been, no, you requested your share of the property and you left with it. We don't have a place here for you. But the father accepted him in to teach people that forgiveness should always be something that we have no matter what. And I know many people will try to link this with the lady in the video, but
Not the same.
this is what they should understand, that when the sons live in the father's kingdom, he lived there as a son, not as a master. He was under his father's jurisdiction, not a father under his jurisdiction. From that lady explanation, the boy was her master. He talked to her anyhow. He treated her anyhow. In fact, he fought her many times, according to her. Until one time he shoved her, I think against the sink, and she heard her back, her back pop, in her own word. When he came back to ask to live with the mother, he came back arrogantly. The story of the prodigal son, he came back asking for forgiveness from his father and even accepted to be one of the father's 7. Read a passage, Luke 16, I'm sure. So you see, there are 2 different, movement over there. One person came to take back authority, and the other person came back humbly asking for forgiveness. So they need to read that story very well and understand before, comparing the two, the 2 stories.
Sorry, guys, I'm getting a lot of distraction. But yeah, I'm so glad that you lay it out that way. I'm definitely gonna go read it, and I agree with you from the story I've heard. I don't think it's the same. It wouldn't be prodigal son.
No.
So I think that parenting is so hard, but it's so easy at the same time when you're doing it from not thinking like, from my understanding of it, a lot of us parents nowadays, like we're raising children in a way where it's like, I feel like most parents are on eggshells because they're like, well, I can't do that because the government. Why would you be thinking that way? And I think that's what really kind of misconstrue the whole training part of children. If this is your child and you love them and you have great plans for their life, and pray that God aligns it with what it is they want to do. And every parent, I believe, they want their kids to be better than them, and you're laying the foundation. I don't think you should even have in your mind, well, the government, because every intention and everything you're doing is intentional for the betterment of that child. And you're putting mind like, well, if I beat you, that means the government, which means you're thinking about it in a way you really are not meaning well for that child. And you think you're going to do something bad to the child, so you're worried about authority behind you. It's kind of like you're driving on the road, the speed limit is right there. As soon as somebody sees the police, they're like slowing down, like, go with the traffic flow. Like, why are you acting so suspicious? Just keep going. So I just feel like this story, we really have to dive a little bit deeper. So tomorrow, I want us to come back and like look at it again. I know lately most of our topic we're doing it in 2 pieces, which I think is better because it gave us the chance to really kind of like not just stay and make it so long and you don't grasp the point of it. But I definitely want us to come back to discuss it. But before we close, I know Roberta Sport just put something in here. I want us to do like a takeaway with it. Let me read this quick. Let me read this. So he said, what do you think of cultural clashes when allowing an adult to move in with a parent? In Liberia, when we move in, we abide by the rules and regulation in our parents' home. In America, once we are of age, we don't need to. Peter CNC said my 21 years old daughter wasn't forced to attend. No. So yes and no. Yes and no. In a sense, right? The reason I don't think is that they can't abide by rules, but the rules that you have, it should be different from a different perspective. Like you can't have the same rules that you had when they were 0 to that age that they're at now, if that makes sense. Like I wouldn't have my daughter, because when I know my daughter, let's just say my daughter is 21 years old in this sense, right? And now she goes to school she's working, and she's growing into the adult that she wants to be. I don't think I should have the same rules that I have for her right now from 0 to that age of 21. At 21, like, you're not, from 0 to 21, everything that happened to you by law, I am responsible for you and whatsoever. Even though spiritually I still feel like you're my child, I'm responsible for you. But as an adult, like, as a child, a minor, a young adult, I still have to kind of like, if something happened, they're not going to be like, well, where's the parents? When something happened when you're 21 years old, they're going to say, where's the 21-year-old woman? Well, what happened? They will question you right there and then. At this point now, you have to, like, it's like you're leaving the nest slowly and you're taking full responsibility and accountability of all your actions and things that you do. At the other token, when you're underage, I have to give account and I have to be responsible for everything that you do. Now, let me go to saying not abiding by the rules. Your rules for your kids that are 18 and 17-year-old, you can't treat her the same way that you're going to treat that 18-year-old. Like, it's just plainly simple. If she came home, like, you're a 17-year-old, don't work. If she's at work at 21-year-old, she could choose to stay there and do overtime. She could choose to stay out late with her friends. But you still have, it's not that you don't have the rules that, hey, if you're coming in late, you need to communicate with us so that way we're aware that someone's going to be opening the door and coming in late. Not saying, well, everybody has to be in this house at this time. I just feel like you're not teaching her to take accountability and be responsible and know that at a certain time of life, I can't just be out here on the street or doing whatsoever. At a certain time, like, have her have that mindset of her own to understand that even if she's not to your house, it's not like she's just out here till 5 a.m. God forbid, I know she's not doing this, but I know in college, there's some of them, they're so involved with the people at school, like, they get so out here, they're drunk, they're all in the water, it's 5 a.m. Not that I'm saying your daughter would do that, but I'm saying, like, you're teaching her to make that conscious decision to know that when it's late, when it's not late to get home, but she can still communicate with you to understand that she shouldn't be there. But the reason we had a problem with you saying she got to fall in line, it's almost like you're grown, you're working, you give her responsibility to say, hey, when it's time for the light bill, this is when it's due, you got to pay it. When we have to cook, this is what you have to do. Like, you've already set those lines up at this stage so she understands what is needed. So at that time, if you're giving her rules, it's not based on your 17, your 15, or your 20-year-old children that are living in there. Now you're talking to her from an adult standpoint, and her rules is different from the rules that other people, not that you don't have a rule, you have a rule. Hey, in this house, because of X, Y, and Z, this is what we do, X, Y, and Z. So if you're coming in at this time, you need to communicate with us. Now, if your house, you're not allowed to bring boys. If you're grown enough to have a man, then you need to have your own home to do that there. So those are boundaries. It's more like a boundaries instead of like a rules. You're setting boundaries so that person understands, don't cross my boundaries, I don't cross yours. I don't know if that makes sense, you guys. Did you hear me?
It seems like what he was more referring to, he's talking about rules and regulations pertaining to prayers, like family prayers in the house, following the normal etiquette rules in the house. That's rules, yes. That is something that pretty much has to be constant. You set that rules, even if you're coming, it's the same thing as basic rules for visitors that if you're coming into the house, if the house owner tells you that, hey, remove your shoes outside, then those are rules that you have to abide by. It is what governs everybody. It's the same thing as the government has a rule that everybody follows. Even though they are dealing with older people, you still abide by the rules of the house. Pertaining to the other aspect where if you're talking about the outing, yes, when you get to the age of 21, you will still abide by my rules, but at the same time, you just have to let me know that, hey, I'm going to be out so and so time. Because whether you like it or not, the very moment you're staying under my roof, then at the end of the day, I am responsible for you as well. Whether you are older or younger, you are still under my protection. Because if something happens now, then what? As long as I know that you are under my roof, you are in that my circle, so I have to protect you as well, which basically means follow those rules, let me know. It makes things easier. If something happens to you now that you are outside, they would try to figure out, the police will try to do investigation to figure out where was the last place the person was at, or who was the last person the person communicated with. So we got to think about it in the sense that if something were to go wrong out there, investigation is going to commence. Whether you like it or not, whether you say you want to be lenient on your rules, at the end of the day, if communication is not made, things will still happen and you will be dragged into it, even though you are feeling like you've only taken care of the person from 0 to whatever age. Well, it still continues as long as that person is under your rules. It's just the normal way of life. So to me, I believe they still got to follow those rules because you've already said it and it's always been there. Whether you turn 21 or you turn 31 or whatever, as long as you're under the person's roof, you got to abide by the rules and regulations that that person has set. It is up to that person to decide that they want to adjust it or not adjust it. But you've stayed with them long enough that you already know that that is how they are and that is their rules and regulations. You just got to follow it.
And
So
I
that's my take.
absolutely agree with you, right? I agree with that. I just feel like if the ultimate goal is you're setting those rules to make them a better person in society, you have to communicate it in a different way because at this point, if they choose not to do it, there's a lot of things on their line. They can say, well, I'm leaving. Now you hinder your relationship with your child. It's a whole lot. So in order for bagons to be bagons, I'm not saying don't have your rules. Have your rules in reference to the whole thing with attending the family prayers thing, right? We were trying to understand, is this something that you've been doing, and they're aware of? What is the goal as a Christian parent? What is your goal of having your children to go to church with you and pray? You're trying to get them to understand the ultimate goal is to live a life that you've actually played your role and led them to Christ, right? So now they're at this stage of understanding you've done everything you can. And also, you stated that she was tired. So if the person is tired and said, well, I can't do all night to be out with the family, I'll just say my prayers at home, in my bed, and have a good night for the watch night. But this is something that always come. You also have to be understanding. You can't always be rigid because if you're rigid, then we're running into something where you're going to lose that child and the ultimate purpose is gone. Because as Christ, when he was pulling this disciple, he didn't force the gospel on anyone. He just said it, even though there was his rule. He could have said, do it or not, or you die. But he didn't. He gave you that wiggle room for you to be able to decide and make that decision. Because when you make that decision on your own, then it becomes authentic. And now you're fully in, and you're not being forced to do something. So that's where we were coming from, because you said you got to fall in line, you were angry. But when people understand why certain things are being done, it's easier for them to actually do it, in my opinion. But that's all I have to say to that. Jimmy, do you want to add one or two things so we can close?
Yeah. River says, bro, I don't know how you and your daughter, relationship is like. Whether she grew up with you, or she came to you when she was already adult. I don't know those things. But again, we go back to the Bible verse that I've previously stated. Proverbs 22, verse 6, train up a child in the way that he should go. When he is old, he will not depart from it. That's King James. The NIV says, start up a child. But we live in a society that teaches children to be disrespectful to their parents and respect the government. Don't fear your family, but fear the government. That's a society. This is a society that emphasizes the right of a child, that will destroy the child and put the blame on the parents. But I have my big brother. He's in Pennsylvania. When I came to this country, I lived with them for about a month or two, and this is what he told his children: when you step out of this house, you leave the front porch, and you enter the space of the federal government or the state. That means the street of America. You are American citizen. When you come back and leave their territory and enter my house, you are in Liberia, and at that point, consider yourself Liberian, as long as you're in our house. If I say everybody go to bed at 8 o'clock, I mean everybody go to bed at 8 o'clock. The children go to bed at 8. Adults, unless you are at work or somewhere else, 10 o'clock. After 10, wherever you are, stay there, because you're not coming to wake my wife up. You're not coming to wake my kids up with your noise. You're not coming to wake me up. He has girls that were about 23, 24, 25. You know, some had just, one of them had just completed college. The other one was, in high school, graduating, and stuff like that. And they respected those rules. The one who graduated from college, unless she was at work, she knows that after 10 o'clock, she's not home. She got to stay wherever she is. And if she comes back the next day, he doesn't care, because she's an adult. If you have to clean up the house, as long as you're in our house, your duty is there. If it is a family meeting, you are to attend. I remember there was one family cookout, and the other big side said, her friends were having parties somewhere, and she would not attend the family cookout. And the father was clear: this is the time that you choose between your friend and the family. Because tomorrow, God forbid, if anything happened to you, that friend is not going to be the one to take responsibility for whatever you do or whatever happened to you. It is the family. And he make them believe in family. So to the extent that even they will be the one to remind him of family event. I'm not talking about in the house. In the house, when he declares that tonight is family movie night in the living room, and it starts at 8 on Friday night or Saturday night, everybody will be sitting in our living room eating popcorn and and everything. That movie must finish before you go do whatever you want to do. So why am I bringing this in? I'm bringing this in to say that as a father in a house, no matter how old your child is, if you don't instill that home discipline, that home regulation, that when there is something for us to do in this house and that includes the entire family, you must be involved. You are telling them, on the other hand, that you have the right to be part of family or not.
I have a quick question before we close that, right? Before you end that, right? So,
Mhm.
given the fact that she was tired, and you know the person's tired, they always come. Wouldn't you be considerate?
Is that what she said? She was tired.
Yeah, he said, and she was tired. He said that.
She was tired. How many shifts she worked that night or that morning? Because I'm asking that because if he knew that she was really tired, he wouldn't have issue with it. But parents know when kids are making up stuff and that they don't want to be part of.
I think she was tired.
Well, so are you trying to say that River says they didn't,
No, he said that to us. He said she was tired. She was really tired. So we know there are circumstances.
she was tired or she said she was tired? I'll call it which one?
I can't even remember exactly.
There's a difference between seeing it and actually being tired. If she was really
Very good.
tired, he would see it. For
You-
her just saying it, kids will play games with you. It's very, very easy.
He said
you see,
he said she was tired. So based on her, and is this something that
Turn right to take the
is this a tradition that just started, or is this something you guys been practicing? And has she always been coming? And does she know what value system this holds to you? Because most of the time, if people just think it's something you just started and they don't know how important it is to you or to the family, then they won't
you
make
see,
that
look,
sacrifice.
you see, Fee, I will tell you this
1,000
today.
feet, merge onto the highway on your left. Merge onto the highway on your left.
Rich man, we don't want to hear you, marching on the highway. Please mute yourself. So this is one thing I always tell people. When it comes to God, anything concerning God, people make a lot of fancy excuses. She said she was tired, but if it was time for her to go to work, she would get down and go to work.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm just being realistic because that's what we do.
But let me put this back to you, right? If what is the goal of you having someone to come to church? If they're not coming with wholeheartedly, they're just coming because they want to please you.
It's of no use.
Okay.
It's
So
of no use. But here is
mhm.
but here is the practice. Once you start giving these excuses of not going to church, of not being in devotion,
It wasn't
that's
just
what
it was end of the year, like vigil. She could have still be where she at and pray. She was still in the house. It's just she wasn't outside with them. So
River says is a man of God.
I know.
He understands what vigil means. It's not just a service. It's a service that people plan to be part of, that people are excited to be part of. People pray to be part of that service. It is the time where people go, even people who don't go to church, from January 2nd to December 30th. It is the service that they always pray to be part of because you always pray for God to spare your life.
I know.
So it's like,
So like
It's like an annual feast in a Christian, or environment that people prepared for. Some people come from work and go straight just for that few hours and go home and have the rest of their night. Some people leave from vigil and go straight to work. You see, so
I hear you. Let's try to close.
so it is something she just didn't want to be part of it at night.
I,
I don't think it's because she was tired.
I think based on what he said and what he posted, I think she was tired. I think
Okay.
See, you are thinking in the mother nurture kind of mentality. You're not thinking in the straight reality mentality. Sorry, but we've seen that trick. As a father, we pretty much know the kind of tricks kids will play. They can play that with their mom. They cannot play that with their dads because their dads will be able to see it. Because I myself, I came back from work and I went straight to church from there. So I know exactly how it is. So, nah, sorry, you lose this battle.
Will be on tomorrow by the grace of God, and we will discuss. We will kind of like get into that really quickly, just to clarify that area. But I'm not saying don't have rules to your home, but I think as a newborn, as the scripture says, a newborn babe, ye deserve the sincere milk of the word that ye may grow thereby. Right in First Peter. So I think it's First or Second Peter, one of those. But the reason I said that, as you mature up, there are different type of rules and regulation as you're growing. So I don't think it's not that you can't have rules and boundaries within those areas, but I think you have to be able to. I can't treat my 5-year-old the same way I would treat my 21-year-old. I can't do that. I can't say, well, because this is my house, my church is that. No, but there's areas of understanding because I've done everything from zero to this age, and the expectation, that my expectation for you is at a different standard. And if we're going to do this, X, Y, and Z, what is expected. They already know the rules. So you don't have to go back over it again. It's just now we're implementing from a different perspective. Because I just feel like you're not teaching them to grow up once you do that. But anyways, let's go back to tonight's topic as we close it. Tomorrow we're gonna come back in and we'll look at it from does refusing to house, to do these, are you just giving up on them? Are you feeding them to the wolves? Should you be held accountable when you've done everything in place? I will try to post, I think I posted a video on my Facebook. I encourage you guys to watch it. I'll probably try to do a screen recording along with this and try to post it on my story so you guys can kind of like watch it and listen to it to really understand fully where this conversation is going. But definitely, I agree. I think we all play a role. And let you guys give 2 to 3, just take 1 minute or 2 minutes, just give a closing really quickly before we dive into tomorrow part. What is the takeaway?
Okay, so for me, my takeaway is pretty much going to be as it pertains to this particular lady and every other mothers. Do not try to let your feelings get involved when it comes to raising your child. If you have a male child, don't try to do the raising yourself. Let a male figure handle that. There's a reason why men are put into that position. We are men for a reason because we can handle situations like that and make a turnaround. So women, do not try to take the role of a father in your son's lives because that's where incidents happen. And when you make them soft, eventually reality hits, and by then it might be too late. So try to get yourselves out of that. And may the good Lord help us all in achieving that.
For that, I agree. Yeah, so Jimmy, I know tomorrow we have part 2. What would be something like, a takeaway? Thank you so much, Richmond, for that. What would be a takeaway for tonight as we anticipate the closing of tomorrow?
My takeaway from tonight is, especially from the video, is that mothers are making a lot of mistakes by keeping those male kids, those boys, away from their father or from any male figure. If your son's father is not around, you have a father that reared you. Let him go get close to him. Let him see what boys do. Let him see what men do. Let him see what boys do to become men. See? And we should not allow the society, the laws that are being made to be the arbiter in our homes. That's why a lot of men are leaving their homes. That's why a lot of women are losing valuable men, because they have made the law that the government made to become the arbiter of their home. If you have a man in your life, respect him, give him the right to train his boy to become men. And also to those kids who feel that they have too many rights, let me let you all know that every right has a responsibility. And every right, when emphasized or when practiced without the responsibility, become chaos at the end. Respect your parents, because they are the only people that will never wish you bad. Value their presence, encourage their conversation, and you will be a better person in society. Thank you for having me tonight, and look forward to being here tomorrow. Tomorrow I will be here. You are muted, Fee.
Yeah. Thank you. Awesome, awesome. By the grace of God, we will all be here. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you guys. I think, just to recap, you guys, tonight we talk about a mother who is on her breaking point of things, like her son, a 35-year-old son is doing, and she is just fed up with it. I'll actually post the video so you guys can watch it on my story. But I want you guys to share this with others, because there are some key things in here that we've all learned tonight that we shouldn't make that mistake. But before we go, I just want to remind you that no matter what it looks like or what it is, always look for that figure in life to help you with your children, because it is not easy. Nobody knows it all. And as we unfold this story and just getting to it, it's becoming even more apparent how we're making a lot of mistakes in this day and age. I also want to add something. I just think, too, that men are not really fighting harder to make sure that their legacy are left behind. I know when I say society, this might open can of worms, but I just feel like when you have a child as a man or things like that, you need to fight harder to make sure that your legacy is not just being raised by one side of it. With that being said, I want to say thank you to our audience. Thank you, River Pro. I know you wanted to really join. Hopefully, we can have you on tomorrow. And thank you to the rest of our viewers. Thank you, Richmond and Jimmy, for being here. Super excited for tomorrow as we dive a little bit deeper, try to understand if enabling and letting go now at this stage, does that mean she's neglected her child? Because technically he might be old in age, but he's still a child. So tomorrow we will unfold all of that. Thank you guys so much. Have a blessed night and have a great, great Sunday as well. All right. Thank you. Happy Saturday.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye. Let me go rush into my paper.
Bye.
And thank you for and thank you